Jamaree, good to see you today, man.
How you doing?
Just from the offensive line's perspective, what's the biggest carryover that you want to see from the Orange Bowl to Monday night?
Just the physicality, just, playing with that same intensity that we played with in that game. I think we kind of knew we had our backs up against the wall. It's kind of like, it's pretty much that's the name of the game. Both teams have got their backs up against the wall this time. So, kind of just playing for glory at this point, and want to see that same intensity carry over, that same execution, just being on the same page. I think if we're on the same page, we're a very dominant offensive line, and not too many teams can mess with us. So, yeah, just kind of being on the same page, understanding the game plan and executing it at a high clip. Just playing with that same intensity. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. Just being able to impose our will and take over the game.
Thank you. And our next question comes from Chip Towers. Chip, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Jamaree, obviously fantastic game against Michigan. What would you say the biggest thing that changed between the SEC championship game and the Michigan game for you? Was that about getting more healthy as much as anything else?
Are you talking about for me personally or for the team?
Yeah, for you personally. Talking about Jamaree at left tackle.
I think for me, obviously just wanted to get more healthier for that game, just hitting the rehab hard. I think just coming out with the right mindset, understanding that, a great challenge and a big part of our game plan was me doing my job, was McClendon doing his job. So I think we kind of took that personally and just try to, make it our best game so that the team had a chance to be able to do something special. I think we understood that going into it, and that's what we wanted to do.
Thank you. Our next question is from Jed May. Jed, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Jamaree, I want to ask you about James Cook. Just what is different about him maybe this year than in years past? It seems like this year he's finally having the season that, a lot of people thought he could have in his first couple of years in Athens.
I think he's just more understanding his leadership role. Honestly, he's kind of helped his performance on the field, understanding that his leadership off the field can kind of honestly make him a more impactful player on the field. I know a lot of guys look up to him. A lot of guys, take great respect in everything that he says. And he's become more of a vocal leader this year than in years past. As far as on the field, Cook's going to be Cook. He's a Florida kid. They love football down there. They play football a different type of way. Not many things affect them, the weather or anything else. He just loves the game of football. He goes out and plays it hard every single day in practice. And the things that y'all see on Saturdays are the things that we see in practice every single day. Guys not being able to cover him when he's flexed out, him running really hard. So yeah, that's just Cook. There's not really anything special to him. He just is who he is, and he plays the game, the right way. So yeah, he's a special player.
And our next question is from Andrea Adelson. Go ahead, Andrea.
Good morning. Thank you for doing this. I had a follow-up question to what you said just about bringing the same intensity, because it felt like it looked a little bit different, at least from where we were sitting. Can you just describe the difference in the intensity level you felt you guys had against Michigan compared to maybe the last game that you had played?
I think we just came out hot, against Michigan in the Orange Bowl. We came out hot. First drive, we got the ball first, and things just kind of started rolling. The balls kind of started rolling down the hill, and we were executing really at a really high level. All the plays that were called, we were just kind of all on the same page, understanding not necessarily what we were doing, but why we were doing it at the same time. I think that's even more important, especially when you're talking about a game like football where there has to be cohesiveness. So, that just kind of felt different. We all kind of felt like we were pushing in the same direction. And I think that worked out really well for us. Obviously, in the first half, we played really well. Got some things we got to clean up in the second half, but we played a really great game. I'm proud of the way that we played up front and on offense, because it seems like we were really into our game plan and all pushing in the same direction.
And our next question is from Dan Tortor. Go ahead, Dan.
Jamaree, just what you could say about, the offensive line in general. You guys don't typically get the spotlight, but championships are won in the trenches. So just what you can say about this year's line at Georgia and some of the guys that are there with you to guide them to the national championship game.
It's honestly has been a special group. Throughout the years, you've always kind of had a special group, but this group is definitely special to me. It's kind of my group now, being a senior. So, but it's a special group of guys. Honestly, I tell them all the time. I've definitely been telling them as of recently. that, you know, it's been fun to be you guys' seeing you to be the captain up front for you guys, because, you know, they make it easy for me. It's not hard to get them to do the right things. It's not hard to get them to show up to things on time, do things the right way, to practice hard. Those guys just kind of just do it, you know. They understand the goal. They understand what practice means. They understand what showing up on time and doing things the right way means. So it makes it easy to be there, to be the old guy in the room. It's not like, you know, chasing around a bunch of kids. It's like, you know, it's kind of like just telling guys, you know, hey, this is what we need to do, and it just kind of gets done. And they're really great at accepting challenges, and that's kind of been the theme of our team this year, is just accepting the challenges that, you know, either the coaches represent or the leaders represent, and we just kind of rise to the occasion. So yeah, I'm definitely lucky and blessed to be able to have had this group to be the captain of this offensive line group, because it's a special group. I'm not sure there would be one like it again to me, but yeah, very special group of guys from young to old. So.
And our next question is from Dan Matthews. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Jamaree, how tired are you guys of hearing about your record against Alabama?
I mean, it's definitely motivation. I wouldn't say, you know, tired of it. I mean, it is what it is. It's the truth. You can't really run away from the truth. That's what it is. That's our record. But, you know, we trying to make it an emotional thing where it's just like, we're going to go out and play with emotions. We want to be calm, collected, and have a composed attack, you know, be able to play our game, not necessarily play their game, and just be who we are. We are good enough at what we do. We have great coaches, great players, and a great game plan. So, yeah, we're good enough at what we do. And the record has been the record, but, you know, we're trying to play it different. This is a new game coming up. It's a different game. It's a different environment. It's one definitely different than I've ever played them in. So, yeah, the stakes are different. We want to play this game. I'm not really worried about the last few.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Ivan Mazel. Go ahead, Ivan.
Hi, Jamaree. What makes Will Anderson Jr. different from other guys you have had to block in your career?
He's a very high motor guy, very athletic, freak athlete, very high motor guy. He can run, and he plays to the whistle. He plays to the whistle. He obviously very explosive player. He understands what he's trying to do and what he's trying to accomplish with every snap. And he just plays hard. He plays the game the right way. He's a very talented player. You can kind of see that from him coming out of high school, that he was going to be a talented player, because he was just playing at a different speed than everybody else at that level. So, and he still is now. So it's definitely a great matchup. I'm very excited for it again, and it'll be a good game. You know, he's a great player, excellent player, and I'm excited to play against him.
Next question will be from Seth Emerson. Go ahead, Seth.
Hey, Jamaree. Beyond with Stetson, what he's had to do to get to this point, is part of the reason that you all as teammates are kind of drawn to him, the way he carries himself? And how would you describe the way that he carries himself as a person, not just a player?
You know, as a person, I mean, I think Stetson's just gonna be Stetson. He's like kind of quiet, but, you know, he can be loud when he wants to be. He's a jokester, and he's calm and collective. He's confident in who he is. That's just Stetson Bennett, country kid, down South Georgia kid. He'd be that one kid that walked into the locker room, you know, blasting country music. You know, that's just Stetson. You know, he doesn't want to be a person that he's not, and he's never going to be. And I think that's just the genuineness in who he is, and what he represents kind of draws people to him, because he's going to be Stetson at all times. There's nothing anybody can do about that, can say that change him. He's going to be Stetson. And I think that everybody kind of draws to that, just because we know, like, at all times we're going to get Stetson, not somebody else. So, yeah.
And our next question is from Mike Griffith.
Hey, Jamaree. Just looking at the schedule, looking at, I guess, the psyche of this, and seeing what Alabama did, is it fair to say that Georgia hadn't really been punched in the mouth in a while? I mean, it'd been a while since you guys lost. I mean, is there a psychology to coming off a game like that? You mentioned coming out with that fire against Michigan. I just wonder if that's just the response of elite athletes when they have a failure like that at that level.
I think it's interesting. I mean, everybody says that we haven't been, you know, quote unquote punched in the mouth. I think, you know, every Saturday you line up in the SEC, is kind of everybody's throwing punches. You know, you line up in those mid fronts and you just turn around and hand the ball off. It's a bloodbath out there pretty much every Saturday. Just like it is on their side. So, I mean, I think it's interesting. Everybody makes that narrative, but, you know, they played a better game than us. They out-executed us on that given Saturday, and they had a better game plan. So, I mean, I think that's what it came down to. I think we understood that coming out of that game. We wanted to make the adjustments that we needed to make from an offensive standpoint. I know the defense has too. So, yeah, I just think that's what it comes down to, is just making the adjustments, understanding that these are different stakes. Like I said, it's just different. And, you know, we understand that it's something that we really want, and understanding that, you know, things can be different this time. It doesn't have to be the same narrative over and over again. We control our destiny. Not anybody else, not the media, not Alabama. We control our destiny, and that's how we want.
And we've got time for one more question for Jamaree, and that will go to Zach Klein. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey, Jamaree, you mentioned the bond the seniors have. What would it mean to you to not only walk away, obviously, with this national championship with a win, but to become the most decorated senior class in the history of this program in terms of total victories?
It's definitely special. Honestly, I hadn't even thought about that since before the SEC championship last time we talked about it as a team. But yeah, it's definitely something special to us. It's crazy. Like, you know, as they would say, you have one foot out the door, you kind of think back to, like, you know, all the different memories you have. Your first time meeting certain guys, first time being on campus, first time getting recruited, and showing up here. It's just kind of crazy as you walk down memory lane. But it's definitely something special that we built here. You know, you remember the good days, you remember the dog days in Sanford Stadium scrimmaging, and you remember all of those, and you just kind of find yourself talking about them with certain guys and reminiscing. And it's been a fun ride, but the ride ain't over yet. You know, we still got one big mission left, and we're all excited to be here. And I think it's just the craziest part about it to me is that we're here. You know, for this senior class's first time being here, and so you know, we're excited for the opportunity. Can't wait to go out and play in a great environment, a great stadium, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun time.
Hey, Nakobe, if the playoff is expanded, you guys would be playing at least one and maybe two more games. I wonder how you feel about that, how your body would feel about that right now.
Could you repeat that one more time?
Dennis, if you could repeat the question.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Nakobe, if there was a 12-team playoff in place right now, you guys would be playing at least one more game, perhaps two more games. I wonder how you feel about that and how your body would feel about that at this point.
I mean, if that's what it takes, you know, we come in at the beginning of the season with one central goal, and that's to win a national championship. So that's what it takes to get here to win it. Then I'm all for it.
Great, thank you.
And our next question is from Jeff Schultz. Go ahead, Jeff.
Nakobe, a lot of people have been trying to break down the difference in you guys in the last two games. And, you know, there seems to be this narrative. There is a narrative that you guys were just in a different place mentally against Michigan than maybe against Alabama. How much of that do you think that is true? And how much, because physically it would seem like you guys are sort of the same teams or at equal levels at least. How much is the mental approach going to make a difference this game?
You know, the mental approach makes a big difference. Just from the whole thing of it being a national championship. I mean, it's a national championship. You should be prepared mentally. You should be prepared to give it your best on the field. You should expect your opponent to also be prepared to give it their best on the field. So the mental and physical preparation for it, I feel like should be second to none.
And our next question will go to Heather Dinich. Go ahead, Heather, with your question.
So for the first 12 games of the season, you guys were phenomenal defensively, statistically, and then obviously it came unraveled against Alabama. How much do you guys have to prove to cement your place in history as one of the best defensive teams at Georgia against Alabama in the second shot against them?
As far as proving, I don't feel like we going in with that mindset that we got to prove anything. We just going in with the same mindset that we always go in, you know, and that's to be elite, you know, and have complete dominance. And it's one main goal for this last game, and that's to win. So no matter how it happens, how ugly, how pretty it is, it's just one main goal is just to win this game.
And our next question is from Mark Weiser. Mark, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Nakobe. Jamaree was on here earlier saying that you guys can't run away from the truth about the history of success Alabama's had against Georgia. You didn't have any history with Michigan. You do with Alabama. Is that in the back of your mind, for this game? Is it motivation?
I mean, a motivation factor, of course. As many times I played them, that's as far back as I'm thinking though. Just as many times I played them, I can't speak too much on the past. I don't like to dwell on the past at all. Just the present me being here. I didn't play them back then, back in the day. So right now I'm just focusing on winning this game. That's the only thing that's on my mind and on my teammates' mind also.
And our next question will be from Chip Towers. Go ahead, Chip.
Yeah, kind of on that note, Nico, you talk about how many times you guys have played Alabama. I mean, this is third really significant game against these guys in the last 2 years. Would you call Alabama like, Georgia's biggest rival? Is it like the biggest rival for you?
I mean, it's a rivalry, of course, because, everybody hypes it up. Our coach, once coaching underneath the other coach. So, yeah, everybody hypes it up. Of course, it's a big rivalry, and it's an SEC game. But as far as this game, it's a national championship. It's a national championship that I feel like everybody should be prepared to play at their best level, at their highest clip. And like I said before, the only thing that we focus on is winning. No matter how we get it done, we just got to get it done.
And our next question is from Palmer Toms. Go ahead, Palmer.
This is Connor.
Oh, you cut it out.
Yeah, sorry about that. Why do you think the first time you guys played, Bryce Young had so much success against your defense?
They did a lot of things good. They was able to execute in places that we weren't. He was able to extend plays. We had 0 sacks that game, which was very uncharacteristic of us. So they was able to execute at a higher level than we were that day.
And our next question is from Georgia Chambers. Go ahead, Georgia.
Hey, Nakobe. When Coach Smart refused the Gatorade bath, what tone did this set for the team in practice and preparation going into this week, this rematch against Alabama?
Oh, I feel like Coach Smart's mindset is kind of reciprocated in a lot of the older guys as far as, we won the game last week, but, it means nothing. We don't get the job done. That's exactly how I feel also. It was cool that we was able to win the Orange Bowl, but it was a step closer to playing in this big one. Last week and the week before that, we just emphasized it being, 1 game season against Michigan. 1 game season because you lose, you go home. You win, you get more time together. And now, it's what it is. It's 1 game season, and we all looking to win. Basically, it comes to our goals that we set back in January. So.
And our next question will come from Justin Felder. Go ahead, Justin, with your question.
What's up, Nakobe? Looking back at your recruiting class and guys like Nolan and Trayvon, what do you remember about the first time you talked to those guys about how good your group can be? I mean, was it at a camp or an All-Star game or just over DMs or whatever? What do you remember about that conversation and had it talking with those guys those days?
Well, I didn't as far as recruiting, I wasn't real involved pre-college, with other recruits. Just kind of like I knew guys. I didn't really speak to them much. But after we got on campus, actually the guys you said, Nolan, Trayvon, and Chesney, was all roommates. So I do remember having them talks in the living room, talking about, man, how good we can be. We just got to keep working to get better every day. Coming in, knowing that it's hard, coming in and all getting back to the room at the same time and just being, tired as all get out. But just knowing we got to stay the course, continue to work and get better.
And our next question will come from Anthony Dasher. Go ahead, Anthony, with your question.
Yeah, Nakobe, lesson did you take away from the first meeting with Alabama that would be most applicable to the game on Monday night?
Everything basically. You know, we looking at every little thing from the scheme that we use, the scheme that they use, to how we can possibly you know, take advantage of some things that we did. You know, how we can play better, finish better, and from the back end to the front seven. So we looked at every little thing of how we can get better. You know, not just from that game, but from the games throughout the season where we feel like they might attack us in, and basically what other teams have had success in going throughout the season. So you know, we looked at every little thing. You know, we trying to leave every stone turned. So.
And our next question is from Kevin Brockway. Go ahead, Kevin, with your question.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had a Kirby Smart story, what he's like as a motivator, and you know, how he's, you know, kind of mentored you all these years as a coach.
You know, he can get you going. If you ask me, a lot of guys at this point, you know, a lot of guys, if you just kind of seen them, you wasn't around them all the time in practice, you'll think that when he's coaching and he get all riled up, you'll think he's kind of like he kind of tripping a little bit. But you know, he coming from I feel like every time, you know, I don't feel like he's bad at all. I feel like he coming from a great place. You know, he wants you to be great, and he want to be great, and the only thing he care about is winning. And I feel like that's the same for me, you know. If we can, I don't think he care about is winning this game. So whatever we got to do to win this game, coach, I'm gonna do it for you. And that's kind of been the mindset, you know, just trusting the coach, just trusting the game plan, and just going out there and playing like we know how we can play, and just be elite.
And our next question is from Mike Griffith. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Nakobe, for all the film study that you guys have done, how much is there to be said for actually playing against Bryce Young in terms of his quickness, agility? Is it kind of a deal where now once you've seen it, you have a better idea of how quick and elusive he is? And is he the most elusive guy in the pocket you faced, would you say, at quarterback?
I mean, yeah, we can face some pretty elusive guys. I feel like he's one of the best ones as far as sitting in that pocket and staying calm. I feel like he does that, you know, better than anybody. His ability to just sit there and be calm, and you know, being able to extend plays and make plays. Just, you know, his ability to do that. Also just makes it a little just tougher for the front seven to get their rest. So we kind of been working on that and basically trying to make it a different outcome than last time, but we had no sacks. You know, very uncharacteristic for us.
And our next question will be from Alan Cole. Alan, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Nakobe, you mentioned preparation earlier in this, and I was wondering, how is preparing for a team you've already seen this year different than maybe a normal week of game prep, like in the regular season for a team you know you're only going to see once? Is there anything different that goes into a rematch?
It's not too much different. Just we able to watch the game that we played before. You know, we able to see like what their game plan was against us, and what our game plan was against us, and how they may adjust, and how we can adjust. So that's probably the only biggest thing. You know, the work is there. You know, that's the only thing we've been focusing on: working, getting better. From a mental, physical, and, you know, spiritual standpoint, I feel like this team have done nothing but work hard to get better, day in and day out, and I feel like they'll be reciprocated on the field.
We've got time for two more questions for Nakobe. Our next question will be from Zach Klein. Go ahead, Zach, with your question.
Hey, Nakobe, with the senior class, what's the DNA of them? What do they mean to you? And knowing that if they win this game, not only do they walk out as champions, but as the most decorated senior class in the history of Georgia football in terms of victories.
Yeah, they mean a lot to me. You know, those guys, the hard work they put in, you know, the everything from the leadership ability. You know, they've been here as long as I've been here, longer, of course. But you know, they just exemplify Georgia football and everything it stands on. You know, so to be able to finish this one out with this group of guys, you know, I wouldn't want it to be with any other group. So, you know, I love them boys, and that's who we'll be playing for. Well, we'll be playing for our brothers alongside everybody. So, but the seniors definitely.
And our last question will come from Joe Will. Go ahead, Joe, with your question.
Nakobe, how do you balance being a 4.0 student and an All-American player at the same time?
It's hard. I mean, I'm not finna just try to sugarcoat it. It's like been a lot of long nights, a lot of times where, you know, I don't get that much sleep, but you know, you gotta try to find your balance. There's a lot of things you first get to college that they say you can do in the recruiting thing, because they want to get you, of course, and then it's like you get here, it's way harder than they'll probably made it appear. But you know, that's college. You know, that's life. That's growing up. That's maturing. And I feel like the things that I tackled in college, from a time management standpoint and just a, you know, real world standpoint, you know, leaving home and everything has prepared me on and off the field, you know, greatly. You know, has matured me to the young man I am today.
Good morning, Stetson. First of all, I want to thank you for being pretty patient and answering a lot of questions about your journey here on this last couple of weeks in the playoff, because I have another one for you. And that is, when you come back to Georgia from junior college, do you have any stories that maybe you share with your teammates about, hey, this is what it's like in junior college, and this is why you should appreciate being at Georgia? I know you had a great experience there, and Jones, you play some really great players. But what's your sort of like go-to junior, here's what it's like to be in junior college story?
No, not really. Sorry, this earpiece is just driving me crazy right now. Anyways, no, not like a be thankful for, you know, where you are type thing, but just, you know, just telling about it, people who ask. You know, most of these guys come from small towns, so, you know, they know that what's out there and how lucky they are that we're at the University of Georgia, so they don't really need to be told again.
As a Georgia kid, I'm just wondering what kind of feel you have for the history of the 1980 team, and do you feel, and I guess, do you feel connected to the longing that fans want to get back to what that team did?
You know, me and a player who graduated a few years ago kind of were talking about this the other day. You know, I know Lindsey Scott, he's from Wayne County. He's that's down there where I'm from. Obviously, I know Herschel. You know, talked to Buck Blue, and a few other guys on the team. You know, and I grew up listening to, you know, Larry Munson highlights on YouTube, all his calls. But, you know, there's a point in time when you become a player that you can't really be a fan anymore. And I don't really know when that switch was. And I don't really know why. But you kind of flip a switch because you go through the day-to-day and you know all these guys, can't really be fans of them. You can't really be fan. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, I guess I do know, you know, the magnitude for everybody else out there, because I was a fan at one point. So, I mean, I know it's a pretty big deal.
Thanks.
And our next question will go to Allison Mastrangelo. Allison, go ahead with your question.
Hey, Stetson, when talking with some of your former coaches in high school and even JUCO, they all talk about the inner belief and confidence that you've always had, especially getting back to being a quarterback for the Bulldogs. So I just want to know, where does that inner confidence come from? Is it from your family? Is it from a mentor? Is it from someone that you watch in the NFL? Just where does that come from throughout your career at a young age?
I don't know. I'd say it's probably a bevy of things. There's not one specific thing I can point to. I know it's not like I'm not as confident in everything I do as I am in football. So I'd say it comes from work. It's not an ignorant confidence. Like, I believe I can do anything, but I believe I can play football really well. And that's from the work that I've spent over these past however many years I've been playing football. And then my parents have always supported me, and I've always had really good players around me, which is everything on the football field.
And our next question will go to Bill Bender. Go ahead, Bill, with your question.
Hey, Stetson, good morning. How much did going through the playoff preparation as a backup last time Georgia was here in 2018 and all the experiences that came with that get you ready for this? And, what do you remember most from that experience last time Georgia was on this stage?
Well, I mean, I don't know, backup's the right word. I was a scout team quarterback. And so, I mean, that experience as 17, honestly, I don't draw too much on that experience. I was really young. I had no expectation of playing, absolutely none. My only focus was to get the defense ready. And so, I mean, I kind of just draw from all the big games we've had this year, like Clemson when I was the backup. Bama, Tennessee, Auburn, Michigan, all those big time games that we had this year. That's where you draw from and you kind of take things from.
And our next question is from Andrea Adelson. Go ahead, Andrea.
Hey, Stetson, thanks for doing this. As a follow-up to that, I'm just wondering what sticks with you the most about how that game played out for you guys, and how you feel now that you have the chance to lead this team to a long-awaited championship.
I assume you're talking about the first Bama game this year?
Yes. No, I'm talking about the 2017 season, the national championship game, just from 2018.
Okay. Okay. And
yeah, like just the feeling that stayed with you, from being on the sideline, watching how that game played out for you, and now how you feel being the guy who has a chance to get a championship for Georgia.
Oh, okay. I got you. Sorry. Yeah. Obviously it's a little different because I wasn't playing and didn't really have a chance to play. I guess then I was more of a fan. But it hurt. You still put the time in, just like all our scout team guys, they want to win just as badly as we do. They've all, worked out every single day we have, spent the long hours that we have, and they deserve to win just as much as we do. And, to have the opportunity to be the starting quarterback here, first of all, I'm lucky and, extremely blessed. But, it's also exciting. Like I said before the Michigan game, you want these type games, or you come here to Georgia because you want these type games. Just like Nakobe, Jamaree, Jordan, who's about to speak. You come to the university because you think you're a good enough football player to play at University of Georgia, and you want to play against really good other players from other teams, you know, and we're playing against, you know, the best in the country this week. So, you know, it's exciting. And I think we're all ready for it.
And our next question will come from Seth Emerson. Go ahead, Seth, with your question.
Stetson, let me ask about the flip phone, because I don't know that anybody's actually asked you about that in this setting. What's the background on that? Do you actually still have a smartphone, or do you have to like, and where did you find a flip phone? Did you have to like go on eBay or something?
No. So, they actually still sell them at Verizon stores. Apparently a lot of old people still use them. So yeah, just in, I guess it was June or July, I went and, I was, you know, I had a bunch of school coming up the next semester at football. I was like, you know, I spend, you know, whatever, an hour on my smartphone a day doing what? Doing nothing that's going to help me. I don't even remember what I just did. So I was like, and I've thought about this before. I thought about it for years. And I was like, well, I've got all this stuff to do, all this important stuff. Let's try not to let anything get in the way of that focus and just go get a flip phone. You know, I still have a laptop and a tablet for email and, you know, anything important like that, that I can use. And I'll just use my cell phone for texting calls. And, you know, one pain in the butt is I got to like carry around a little notepad to write down stuff because I use my notes app in my iPhone a lot back in the day. But, you know, it's strictly just to help me out with time management and, you know, wasting time.
And our next question will go to Chip Towers. Go ahead, Chip, with your question.
Yes, Stetson, we've heard so many things from you this year, but I haven't heard that much about you know, your family, your mom and your dad and your brothers and sister. How big of a part? I guess y'all like to use the term why. How big of a part is your family, part of your why, and just your upbringing enabled you to get to where you are at the pinnacle of college football this week?
Yeah, you know, I owe everything to them, you know, for first of all, for, you know, raising me in a good Christian house, teaching me right from wrong, which helped me through, you know, the past, you know, whenever not leaving and all that stuff, all that hoopla. But I mean, they supported me from the walk-on process, saying, go, you know, we'll help you out. And they're here now. They're supporting me now. You know, my little brothers and my little sister, they're always there for me. You know, and they've got a hectic life. I'm not the only athlete in the family. So, good Lord, my mom, my dad, I mean, there's no telling how many miles they've traveled all over the country for softball, football, basketball, baseball, soccer. And they never complain about it, all while they're running, you know, businesses. So, you know, it's impressive. And it inspires me, and I don't want to sound cliche and cheesy, but it does inspires me to, you know, if they can do all that and, you know, be successful, then, you know, what's a little bit of football? So.
Okay, we have time for about two more questions. Our next question will go to Dan Matthews. Go ahead, Dan, with your question.
Two-parter for you, Stetson. One, will there come a time where you do allow yourself back to the smartphone world? And the second part is talking about the frustration last week where you don't pay attention to what's being said. Is part of that frustration just kind of almost wanting to say, like, what do you want from me? I want to play quarterback. They're giving me the opportunity to play quarterback.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will. I'm not going to be some, you know, nomad unless I decide to. I don't know. And Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of things that go unsaid from that frustration. You know, not really allowed to say it, but but that's what it's the nature of the beast. You're the hero or the zero. And I'm glad it was me instead of anybody else, because I can handle it. Because I can just shut it off and just tell people, go blah blah. But you just keep your head down and keep working. You trust your teammates to make plays, and you just go play football. Same game you've been playing since you're, in Little League. So just because more people are talking about it doesn't mean the rules have changed. So just go play.
And our last question will come from Benjamin Portnoy. Benjamin, go ahead with your question.
Stetson, kind of asked me about your family as well. I know your grandfather was a college football player. Just curious kind of what his impact was on you, and what would you kind of say to you maybe now being in the position you're in?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Sticking on your family, I know your grandfather was a college football player. I know he passed a few years ago, but just what was kind of his impact on you, and what do you think he might say to you now, kind of being in the position that you're in as well?
Growing up, you always look up to your granddad, and or at least I know I did, and both of them. My mom's dad, my dad's dad, but my dad's dad. He played football at Stetson University. They quit the program. He hitchhiked to South Carolina, was ACC's leading rusher. Like I said, people make it such a hoopla about my journey. I didn't freaking hitchhike anywhere. That's just what you do if you want to play football. And that it's as simple as that. Maybe people aren't willing to do it anymore. But it never seemed like a big deal to me. And I guess that comes from seeing his example. You always want to make him proud. The text that get me the most after, a good game or whatever, saying Papa would be proud of you. You always want to, make your family proud and leave the family name in a better spot after you've had it. And I know that's just football. I know there's a lot more to life than that, but while I'm here, I'm going to try to do the best I can for it.
Hey, Jordan, thanks for doing this with us. In your time with Stetson Bennett, what has impressed you the most about, sort of everything he's done, his journey and all that he has gone through?
Definitely his resiliency. Stetson, he's a resilient kid. He went from Rose Bowl scout team QB coming in, and just, grinding, working. He's an extremely hard worker. Every time I see Stetson, he's either learning up on something or on his flip phone. So, he's just that guy you want to be around.
And our next question will go to Jeff Schultz. Go ahead, Jeff, with your question.
Jordan, as everybody's attempted to break down your last two games, the team's last two games, not yours. It seems like the narrative is you guys were just in a different place mentally against Michigan. Would you agree with that? And since the two teams in this game seem like they're pretty equal physically, is it really come down to focus and mental approach in your view?
Definitely. After the last Alabama game, we was like our wake-up call. We had to realize that we had a lot of work to do, and we haven't arrived yet. And we just came back, worked hard, and went out and played Michigan. And we've seen the result of that game. And it's just a different mindset switch from practice to the way we carry ourselves in the locker room. Especially like this week, we've been grinding hard. It's kind of like a bittersweet moment because, although we're playing for, a national championship, the older guys and the seniors are leaving. So it's kind of like balancing that and, balancing those emotions. But definitely this game is a lot more mental than physical. These teams are pretty much evenly matched when it comes to personnel and, physicality and everything. And the thing that really sets us apart is just mentally and who do things who do things better. So.
All right, and our next question will come from Heather Dinich. Go ahead, Heather, with your question.
Yeah, the first 12 games were just unbelievable statistically for your defense, obviously, and Alabama took some of the shine off of that. I just wanted your take on what you think your perspective is on the true identity of this defense.
True identity is what you've seen for the last 12 weeks in the regular season. Alabama, they gave us a little fit. Threw a lot of haymakers, and we couldn't really respond like we wanted to. But with time, you get better. You learn more about yourself as a defense. You learn more about Alabama with this time going into the game. So definitely this time around, it'll definitely be different.
And our next question will come from Michael Casagrande. Michael, go ahead.
Jordan, what did they do specifically, Alabama, against you to make this difficult in that SEC championship game?
Honestly, in the SEC, it was just, down to mental execution. It was a couple plays that we busted, and they got big plays on, and, just, I'd say we wasn't as conditioned as we should have been, especially, on my part. And definitely, this week we've been working hard. Coach Smart's been working us hard. And actually, I'm about to go run right now after this meeting. So, it's definitely about pushing yourself to the next level. You just want to do things, this is for all the glory. So if you're not pushing yourself to the absolute limit, then it's kind of like, what are you here for?
Our next question will go to Georgia Chambers. Go ahead, Georgia, with your question.
Hey, Jordan, you kind of talked about pushing yourself to that next level. So coming into Monday night's game, as a leader on Georgia's defense, what have you seen during preparation from your team over the past few days to make you believe that your team is prepared for this rematch against Alabama?
Definitely the buy-in. The whole team is bought in to the plan, to just everything, extra film, extra conditioning, just doing the little things extra that we need to get us to the next level. And, it's been a great journey. We always talk about, if you're going to do something, bring somebody with you. So it's been young kids going with the seniors and getting some extra film or getting some extra conditioning. I was out there working out with Keely, and, when you're working out with Keely or somebody else from a different position, you learn more about them, and it kind of ties in that connection piece that we've been talking about all year. So it's just one of those things, everybody's just been bought in. So it makes it a lot easier to, just coach for the coaches, and it's a lot easier to play as a player.
Our next question will go to Zachary Powell. Go ahead, Zachary.
Hey, Jordan, thanks for doing this. Can you talk about what not only beating Alabama would mean, but what winning the national championship would mean both for you and for Georgia as a whole?
Definitely beating Alabama would be an accomplishment. Not only for me, but for, Coach Smart and everything. I had 3 shots at Alabama and I haven't beaten them yet. So that's speaking for myself as a team, winning a national championship. This is what we're grinding for. This is what we work for all season. So, of course, it's going to be an amazing feeling. And, we haven't won a national championship since 1980. So to be able to do this and have a regular season that we did and just come out on top at the end of the day, it'll be an amazing feeling. And, it's one of those things that you work hard for. And, not a lot of kids, on this team, I was fortunate enough to be a state championship in high school, but some kids, they haven't been a champion ever. And so for them to win, it kind of puts a lot of things in perspective, because you come to Georgia to be best and be elite. And when you win a national championship, you're considered the best and elite. So that's one of the goals that we try to reach, and we have a chance on that on Monday.
Our next question will go to Mark Weiser. Go ahead, Mark.
Jordan, you were saying how it's a lot more mental than physical as it relates to Alabama and the success they've had. How have you guys approached that to have the right mental frame of mind?
Like I said, just a lot more film, a lot more paying attention to the details within technique, film, noticing little nuances with the offense, and just learning about, how they operate a little bit more. Obviously, we have a little bit more time than we did for the SEC championship game. And we just took that time to really just work on ourselves. It's not even about Alabama. It's really about working on ourselves and getting that mental piece and getting that mental hurdle over.
Our next question will go to Mike Griffith. Go ahead, Mike, with your question.
Hey, Jordan. Just enjoyed watching your rise through your career, man. Congratulations. But, Stetson was up there a moment ago saying hero or zero. And, I think about all the social media, all the highlights from that first game, and you being kind of the face of the program. A lot of people zeroed in on you and the sideline to sideline play and neutralizing the Outland Trophy and Bednair. How hard did that hit you? You just mentioned the conditioning, and you seem to have a little bit more of an edge today. Did that game hit you hard in terms of, just how important it is for you to be that sharp, on point, and physically ready?
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a wake-up call. I had to look at myself and realize that I wasn't doing enough. And, I try not to let things get to me and affect me like that. But that game, it definitely stung a little bit because, obviously every game you go into, you expect to win. And, not winning that game in the SEC championship kind of hurt a little bit. But we knew we had another opportunity, and with new opportunities, you have a chance to be different. So I took that chance to the opportunity to be different, and definitely it will pay out for me tenfold because I feel better. My body feels better. I'm just doing the little things like recovering and, getting in the training room and rolling out and icing up. So just the little things that makes you a better football player I'm doing. And I'm just ready to showcase that on Monday.
Next question will come from Paul Newberry. Go ahead, Paul, with your question.
Hey, Jordan. You touched on not winning a national title at Georgia since 1980. I just wonder how much fans come up to you kind of pleading with you to end that drought. And I do have a sense of beyond the football program, how kind of desperate the state is to win another national championship, or Georgia fans are.
Yeah, definitely. The whole state's behind us. And, you can think back to how many great teams have been at the University of Georgia since 1980 that haven't won a championship. And, we just want to take that opportunity and be different. And, at the end of the day, this is what we came here for. This is what we grinded for. And, we want to do something absolutely special in our time here.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Jed May. Go ahead, Jed, with your question.
Hey, Jordan. I think it was Jamaree that said, Stetson's just going to be Stetson, at all times. Like, what does it mean and look like for you guys both, I guess, on a day-to-day basis and then, actually on game day too?
Stetson is calm, cool, and collected every day that I've seen him. Never gets too high, never gets too low. And, we just need that even kill Stetson. I definitely think, it was definitely a lot of trash talk about him after the SEC game that we all seen. And, we just want to make sure that he had our support. And we, no matter what, we always 10 toes behind him. So Stetson is, how he went into Michigan and played lights out. Like, I mean, you're capable of, you know what he's capable of. And we all know what he's capable of. And, we just need his best, just like he needs our best. And we're always there for him.
Our next question is from Zach Klein. Go ahead, Zach, with your question.
I know you have a walkthrough tomorrow, man, but this is the final practice of your college career today. Are you going to miss them? And in your past experiences, do you guys do anything fun on that final day practice for like the seniors or any of the old guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna miss practice a lot. I was just thinking about that. I was yesterday. I was like, man, this is my last practice in this facility. So I was just taking time and writing like a little message in my locker, for the next person to see, and whoever that might be. But it's definitely a bittersweet moment. Grateful to be in this position, playing for a national championship, but it's also sad that it's my last go around. But at the end of the day, this you just have to lead the nest. I can't be here forever. I'm grateful for the time I had here, and University of Georgia has been so great to me and my family. So I thank them. But as for senior traditions, the D-line had to carry the seniors off on the field like yesterday at practice. So it was me, Vontae, and Julian Rochester. So we had about like 4 people each trying to carry us off the field, and each position group, they had to carry the seniors off. So that's kind of like the tradition that the seniors have each year.
They actually found somebody to carry you off the field.
Yeah, it had to be like 3 or 4 people. So, it's like 2 people grabbed my legs and then 1 got my back. So it was pretty, I'll say it was pretty easy for them. They didn't have a hard time for what I saw.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
And our next, we have time for 2 more questions. Our next question is from Anthony Dasher. Go ahead, Anthony, with your question.
And Jordan, I was wondering if you could reveal what was in that little note you left in the locker room for the next player to occupy it.
I can't reveal all the details, but it's just pretty much like I would say it's just a little memo. Like it was just my name, a little message, and then the years I played. And it's in a little hiding spot, so they kind of have to find it. But when they do, they'll have a little message. It's more so for me. So when I come back, I could just look at it and I'm like, yeah, that was my locker. If I have, kids in the future, or, bring my brothers or something like that.
And our last question for Jordan will go to Jeff Spiegel. Go ahead, Jeff, with your question.
Yeah, Jordan, every defense wants to make the other quarterback uncomfortable. How difficult is it to make Bryce Young uncomfortable?
Bryce is an extremely talented athlete. He's slippery. And I forgot, we was watching, I think it was Hard Knocks with the Colts. And they was talking about the gingerbread man and how Kyler Murray was kind of like running around like the gingerbread man. So that's what we've been calling him all week. And, just seeing him run around our defense on the SEC championship game, it's kind of like you have to tighten up. That's one of the things that we've been trying to do. I mean, I've been going against like wide receivers in our quarterback rodeo drill in practice. So trying to track down a wide receiver who's shifty. And, I'm a defensive lineman. It takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of practice. And it teaches you to track a hip. So we just been tracking hips all practice, and definitely this go around, we'll try to contain them and get them.
Jordan, thanks for your time and best of luck to you on Monday night.
Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Medical Properties Trust, at the very heart of healthcare.